There we go. All right, we share this a couple places and we are good to go. Go ahead, go ahead. Reload, reload. All right, yo, 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 what's up, man? How's it going? Sorry, I was just getting my stuff situated here. You know how that goes. So I want to do a little different today. Usually I would have a minimalistic review up, but I figured I would switch it up a little. We got a pay-per-view this weekend, so I'll go ahead and just give a live recap of the shows. Still be short, still be sweet, but it'll be live and you'll have the real personality and not the Maddie B reviewing with the crazy tone and whatnot. So I'll go ahead and just start with AEW and then I'll work to NXT and then work right into the predictions for the pay-per-view. So AEW is a good show, man. Had some good stuff happen that mattered. We had some good, I mean, obviously there's good matches in AEW all the time, but we did have the opening, which was a surprise for me, was Darby Allin versus Joey Janela, and it was a good wrestling match. You know, these two are known for some craziness, and they actually had an in-ring good match, but 99% of the match took place in the ring. Um, a live stream review. Yeah, yeah. When is Elimination Chamber? 2 weeks, right? Or next weekend? I think I could do that. Let me check my schedule with the kiddos, and I'll definitely get back to you, man. I'll hit you up on Twitter for sure. But yeah, they had a good match in the ring. You know, last week Taz threatened that he would be checking out the match probably at ringside, and they never showed up. Team Taz never showed up, so that threat wasn't there. But Darby Allin did retain, and yeah, they two had a really good match, like actual wrestling match, not a death match or anything like that. But there's more on Taz later, Team Taz, and what they did in the show. So, and then we had Moxley cutting a promo with the IWGP United States Championship on his shoulder, and he just warned Kenta, you know, he's gonna do some bad things to him at New Beginning. So we'll see then. I'm excited for that match whenever that goes down. I think it goes down February 26th. All right, yeah, man, I'll DM you for sure. I'll look at the date too. I want to say it's next Sunday, after the Sunday after Takeover. So, but yeah, and then we had MJF backstage with the Inner Circle. And Sammy comes in, brings a cameraman, tells the cameraman he needs to stay and see this, and asks MJF about what's going on. While he's trying to take over the Inner Circle, and then MJF flips it on Sammy and is like, I think you're trying to take it over, and I think you hate Chris Jericho. And so Sammy's like, what, is that what you want me to say? You want me to say I hate Chris Jericho? Yeah. So he says it, and then MJF is like, yeah, that's exactly what I want to say, and he has his phone there recording. So Sammy takes his phone, smashes it, and then punches him in the ribs, and MJF sells it ridiculously, like he just broke his ribs with a punch. Um, and then he takes off. But this was weird. I mean, I get what they're doing, but they had the cameraman there and could have just seen that. He didn't have to hide that from Y2J or whatever. But I don't know. There's more on that later as well. That wasn't the end of that segment for the Inner Circle. But then we had Cody and Lee Johnson, who just recently signed with AEW, I believe, taking on Peter Avalon and Cesar Bonani. I never heard of this man until last night. He's a big old dude, though, super tall. And it was cool. Cody and Lee Johnson won. It was a good showcase for Johnson. Cody is really good at kind of playing the back burner when he's trying to get somebody over, and it definitely worked this time. Lee Johnson shone. Lee Johnson was the star, and Cody just kind of plays the background. And he's good at this, and while he's not, while he's just waiting on his feud with Shaq, I'm guessing to end after Revolution in March. He'll probably be doing more stuff like this. I'm sure he's busy with the Go Big show and all that, so he's not in a title picture or anything like that. So he's just doing the Hollywood Cody thing. So that's cool. Good for him. If he can get more guys spotlight, then that'd be great. And then the Good Brothers are backstage with the Bucks, talking about last week, talking about how they smashed the ratings against NXT, which is weird because they're part of Impact, so I don't know how that helps them really. But it's whatever. People love that ratings talk, so they know what they're doing to there. And then they talked about the Battle Royale and how the Good Brothers didn't really help them. They just kind of distracted them, and then they got them eliminated. So they wanted to set a match against Proud and Powerful, Santana and Ortiz, next week for the AEW Tag Team Championships against the Young Bucks. So that should be it should be really good. Honestly, the Bucks, obviously they're a great tag team. I think they transcended the belts. Like, they don't need the belts to be verified. They're good. Everyone knows it. I think they should drop them. And they haven't really done much with them since they beat FTR. So why not hand them off? Give them to the Santana and Ortiz, and let those guys run wild. And then they'll have to feud with MJF and Jericho at some point, and just keep this whole Inner Circle implosion going, even though I don't want it to, because I really like the Inner Circle, but I feel like eventually it's going to self-destruct. So but yeah, so that's set for next week. Oh, excuse me. And then backstage, Hangman Page is seen with Matt Hardy, and Matt Hardy's like apologizing for trying to swindle him and all that into joining Big Money Matt's team. And Hangman gets invited to the bar by Matt Hardy, and I should have known this was a set. He should have known this was a setup, because I'm pretty sure the Hardys don't drink anymore. Well, Jeff does when he gets in trouble, right? But pretty sure Matt gave up drinking when he almost killed himself and stuff. So he went through a dark time when he was between WWE and TNA and all that. So he should have known this was set up. Anyways, they do that. He leaves to go get his stuff to get ready to go, and he runs into the Dark Order, and he has to walk past them, and it's like super awkward. It's like seeing your ex. He walks by him, it's like awkward. So that was a cool thing. They're still keeping that little storyline sprinkled in there with Hangman and the Dark Order, and I think eventually he's just going to become the leader of the Dark Order once he gets over his heartbreak from what Kenny did to him. And then we had a match, somewhat of a match. It was more of a squash for Pac destroyed Dolph Ziggler Jr., Ryan Nemeth, his little brother. I'm guessing a little brother, right? Big, he's a tall guy. He's bigger than Dolph, but I'm sure younger than Dolph. But anyways, Pac destroyed him. No surprise here. Pac looks great ever since he's come back. He's, I'm sure, in line at some point to go after the title. He's great, and I can't wait to see what he does more. And then Miro recaps the whole wedding situation from last week when Orange Cassidy crashed the wedding. He was in the cake. And then he says he's going to destroy Chucky T and Orange Cassidy and put them in the hospital with Trent. So we're keeping that going. Eventually, I'm sure we'll see Orange Cassidy take on Miro. And then, yeah, it cuts to Orange Cassidy and Chucky T drinking some mimosa, it looks like. And and Chucky T's like, of course Orange Cassidy was going to pop out of a cake at the wedding. Like, that's a no-brainer. So we saw that. That's cool. I like that little thing going there. Miro's great. Orange Cassidy's hilarious. Chucky T's freaking hilarious. And yeah, I like the comedy angle they got going. It works for me. And then they did they were doing a pre-match interview before MJF and Jericho took on the Acclaimed, and Jericho is just with Hagar and he's not with the rest of the crew. And then Sammy comes up. MJF comes up and he's all, got his ribs wrapped, proud and powerful. Like we saw him in the trainer room, and then he comes up and he's like, "Did you see what Sammy did? He's crazy. He broke my ribs, punched him." And Jericho's like, "What the hell's going on?" And they have a match, so they kind of just get over it. And MJF's like, "Yeah, I guess I can go. I'll wrestle." So they head to the ring. They have their match with the Acclaimed. On the way out, the homies drop in bars. He does that freestyle thing, and he said some good stuff about Jericho. I can't remember any of the lines, but it was funny. It was good stuff. So that's cool. I like their little thing they got going there with that freestyle, dissing as they come out. Even though they lost, I think they still look good. And if they keep that little gimmick going, I think they'll be okay taking some losses. Just as long as it's not too much and they fall too far down the rankings. But yeah, simple here. But the main part of this was at the end. Sammy comes out. His music hits. He comes to the ring. And Jericho's like, "Yo, what's going on with you? What's your problem? What'd you do to MJF?" And he's like, "Yo, I'm over it. I told you if this fool does anything else, I'm out." And so he dipped. So Sammy Guevara no longer part of the Inner Circle. He left, and I think Marvez was trying to catch up with him as he was leaving, and he's like, "I just need time to get over this," and he bounced. So developing story, Sammy Guevara no longer in the Inner Circle. And then it goes back to Hangman and Matt Hardy. They're sitting at the bar. Hangman's putting them back, Matt Hardy's like, "We need a shot. We need a shot. We had some good chemistry. Maybe we could team again, and we need a shot." So he pours a shot. Hangman takes it. Matt Hardy, pretends he's going to just, dumps it out and, fakes "Oh, that was so good." And so here MJF's all tore up. Matt busts out a folder, an envelope, and then sneaks up to the camera like, "This is why I wanted you here. He's probably going to be upset when he comes to, or when he's not so drunk anymore." And he pulls out a contract, and Adam signs it. So we don't see what he signed or whatever. Some people I was reading say, "Oh, he probably just signed no thanks" or something. It wasn't his name. So we'll see where that's going. I like this. Matt Hardy's great. Obviously, he's one of my favorites of all time. Hangman is my dude in AEW right now. I really like his character. And we'll see where it goes. I like that he's involved with the Dark Order and Matt Hardy, so he's got a few things going on. But yeah, we'll see where that goes. Good segment there. And then, so here comes the other part of the Taz Sting thing. By the way, this whole Sting, man, they need to stop saying Sting is advertised to talk to Tony Schiavone in the ring, because he never does. He always gets interrupted, or he'll get started for 30 seconds, and then he gets interrupted by Taz. Team Taz comes up on the Titantron and just, they're doing something to piss him off, or to, Taz is such a little shithead heel. He just gets under everyone's skin, He's like a little dude. And then, of course, he's got freaking his big old, what's his name? Powerhouse Hobbs to back him up as his freaking, as his muscle. So, but anyways, before Sting even gets to talk this time, Taz jumps up. He's sitting in his car. He's on the Titantron, and yeah, he's like, "Check out what my buddies are doing back there," and they are putting they're putting Darby Allin in a body bag, right? Because that's what he'd do, the body bag thing. and they have him hitched to the back of a truck, and they just take off, boom, dragging Darby Allin through the parking lot. And yeah, they just drug him through the parking lot. So we got that going on. Hopefully, I knew Darby couldn't go through the night without doing something extreme, right? So in that match with Joey Janela in the beginning, they didn't do anything extreme. They did a couple dives, whatever. That's pretty standard for wrestling these days. And yeah, it was like a normal wrestling match. So Darby's like, well, I got to get my fix of craziness in. So he gets tied to the back of a truck and gets dragged across the parking lot. So, we'll see if he makes it to Revolution alive, hopefully. Because goddamn, that was crazy. And then we see Alex Marvez catching up with Kenny Omega, who's on the golf course, and he's like, just bugging him, asking him why he's not preparing for his match with Kenta against Moxley and Lance Archer. And Kenny's like, look, I'm the greatest. First, he's like, I'll first watch this shot. He's got the ball in the sand trap, right? He's trying to get it out of the sand trap. And he's like, first watch this shot. He hits it. And then they kind of just start talking, and then they keep a blatant space between Marvez. So you got Marvez, you got Kenny, and then in the middle, in the background, in between them, you can see the post, the flag, and then you see Don Callis and some random caddy, back there. So they go chase the ball down, grab it, and then Callis just knocks it in, just drops it in the cup for him. And so, anyways, they have their conversation. Marvez is just Kenny's saying how he's the best and all this, and he doesn't need to. He'll be fine for his match later. So he goes to the cup, and he's like, did I make it? And Cal's like, yeah, of course you made it. Kenny's like, another eagle? That's like my 10th eagle today or whatever. So, they're pretty ridiculous, and I like it. Kenny is a awesome shithead heel, to say the least. Pardon my language. But he's good at it. And Callis, of course, is just the master manipulator. So like what they're doing. Of course, they're gonna have a match later with it's Kenny and Kenta versus Lance Archer and Moxley. So that's the main event. So in between that, Thunder Rosa defeated Layla Hirsch in the first round of the AEW Women's Championship Eliminator Tournament, whatever it's called. And yeah, I mean, this was fine. Layla Hirsch is fine. She's just, she's not Thunder Rosa. So I mean, you knew Thunder Rosa was gonna win here. Good for her. She'll probably meet up with Britt Baker again at some point, right? Because the brackets are split. So you have the American side and you have the Japanese side. Oh, and then they also were saying how the Japanese side of the tournament, I guess they're all happening on YouTube. They were showing the matchups, and then they had the YouTube, like live on YouTube or whatever, Monday. So I don't know if that's like a regular thing until Revolution, or if it's just gonna be like all on one Monday, like this Monday. So I guess tune into YouTube and find out if you want to see that. But yeah, then Jungle Boy's getting interviewed by Tony Schiavone backstage. I guess this was an earlier in the day interview. And yeah, he's just upset with Dax, obviously, right? Because they kidnapped the little guy last week. What's his name? Marco Stunt. And yeah, he tells Dax he's going to make him his biatch when he sees him. So, and they had a banger of a match too last week. So or 2 weeks ago, Jungle Boy and Dax Harwood did. So, hey, if we get more of those, I'm all for it. And then yeah, in the main event, right? Kenny Omega and Kenta, they beat Lance Archer and Moxley with the help of the Good Brothers. Of course, they were at ringside, and the match was a falls count anywhere, anything goes. And oh man, did anything go? They threw everything at each other, including the kitchen sink. Not everything but the kitchen sink, including the kitchen sink, because they ended up brawling all the way into the kitchen. And yeah, they fought on prep tables. They threw each other into reach-in refrigerators. Lance Archer even used a box of potatoes at one point. Right, potatoes, wrestling potatoes. Get it? But yeah, a bunch of potatoes, and Moxley used one specific potato and was beating up Omega with it. But yeah, this was just a crazy, all over the place main event, and it was fine. There was no big angle at the end or anything, but the match was cool. It was all over the place. And yeah, in the end, the Good Brothers helped Kenny win. So they hit Lance Archer because Lance Archer looked like an absolute beast in this whole match too. So that was cool to watch Lance Archer go off. But then they hit him with the Magic Killer. The Good Brothers do hit Lance Archer with the Magic Killer, and then they help Kenny tries to put him set him up for the One Winged Angel, which there's no way Kenny's getting Lance Archer up on his shoulders for the One Winged Angel. So the Good Brothers come in and help him up and help him through the move, and he hits it, and that's how they win. So, good show, couple good shows in a row for AEW. Stuff mattered here. You had the tournament. I'm sad there was only one women's match, but I guess you got to drag it out. And we didn't see Shida, which sucks. She is the champion. I don't know if is she even in the States? Maybe she's stuck in Japan. I don't know. But I feel like we never see her anymore, so that was unfortunate. Yeah, they pushed some storylines further. I had no problem with this show. Very much enjoyed it, as I do most Wednesdays. Very good show. And then speaking of stuff that mattered, NXT was full of stakes. So even to open the match, MSK defeated Legado del Fantasma in the semifinals of the Dusty Cup Classic. So they go on to the finals for winning. And I never watched MSK when they were the Rascals in Impact. I knew who they were, but I never watched them. So it's fun to get to see them right now. They do some really cool stuff. I mean, they're all over the place, high energy, hard hitting. It's neat, and it's good to give that little. They're like giving that little shot in the arm to the NXT Tag Team division, which has been, pretty bad since its glory days, right? Like 2016 or whatever, with, and they had FTR and they had DIY and they had, all these teams. Of course, Undisputed Era is still in there and they're great, but yeah. So it's cool to see them. There's a lot of matches I'd love to see them do. And who they'll end up facing at the championship will definitely be a good match. It'll be a clash of styles, and I'll very much enjoy that. So, but yes, they won. They're great to watch. I'm excited to see what they do going forward. And yeah, so that was the first Dusty Cup match that happened. And then Xia Li destroyed Cora Jade, and then she had Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter like on the apron trying to be like, what are you doing? This isn't you. What are you doing? And then, she kills that girl, and they go up to the ramp, and the dragon lady sitting there. I forget her name, but the lady that's in the mask and that's 1,000 years old that derived from a dragon or whatever that story was 2 weeks ago or last week. And yeah, she's like asking her, what have you done? What have you done to her? This isn't Xia. We know Xia, blah, blah, blah. Xia comes down and whoops both the girls' asses, and then she's like apologizing to the dragon lady because they embarrassed her. So, whatever. This is cool. I like Xia Li a lot, and I like her style, how she is now, because she's very legit, or at least she looks legit. I don't know her background, but she looks legit and she executes very legitly. So I'm all for her being a badass heel because it fits her style. So that's cool. And then they go backstage. Scarlett Bordeaux is sitting on Regal's desk like she's gonna freaking seduce him or something. And then she just is like, "Hey, we want Escobar," and Regal's like, "Okay, you got Escobar." So that was set for next week. Santos Escobar and Karrion Kross will be having a match, so that's cool. Should be good. Should be really good, actually. And it'll be better than just having Karrion Kross squash people again for months before he gets the title back or a title shot back. So cool with that. And then Gargano. This was probably the best part of either show for me, was just Gargano and the Way, and how goddamn funny they are, man. So Gargano shows up and he's in a wheelchair, right? But he has a sling on. So his injury is his arm's broken. That's what he's telling him, that his arm's broken, but he can't walk. And then Wade Barrett on commentary was hilarious too, just saying, like, just backing up everything Johnny's saying, all the BS that he's that he's telling everyone about his arm and why he can't walk, and Wade is just, he's all for it. It's so funny. But anyways, they roll him down to the ring. He's with, Indy, Candice, and Austin Theory, and they roll him down to the ring. They pick him up. Oh my god, they pick this fool up, sit him on the top turnbuckle, pull his wheelchair over the top rope, put it in the ring, and then place him back in the chair. And it's insanely funny and ridiculous. So but yeah, he's going on and on saying his arm's broken, he can't compete. And Regal comes out and he's like, you have to compete, or you can either forfeit your championship, or you can have Austin Theory defend it for you. And he's like, no way. And Theory's all excited. He's like, no, that's not happening. So anyways, Regal calls him on his BS. He's like, this is the X-ray, and this isn't even your X-ray. This says a left arm, or a right arm, and he has his left arm injured, and it's like someone else's name and all this. So it's a bunch of BS. And then he says something about Kushida, and then Regal's like, oh, well, why don't you ask Kushida yourself, or let me ask him to his face or something. And he's like, what do you mean? And of course Kushida's behind him, and he just beats up everybody. And Johnny gets knocked out of the chair or whatever, and then Kushida grabs the title, and then Johnny goes and grabs it with his broken arm, right? And he's like perfectly fine, obviously. We all knew that. So anyways, he beats him up, and then they have a match. And Johnny, wait, was the match then? Or I think the match might have been later. Anyways, they end up leaving with it. Oh yeah, it led to Ember Moon. So this led to the other tag team women's Dusty Cup Classic match. So it was Ember Moon and Shotzi against Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell, and Ember Moon and Shotzi won. It's a good match, they're all really good. But so they'll go ahead and take on at Takeover. It's gonna be Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez against the Way of Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. So perfectly fine with that. It's gonna be cool. I'm pretty sure. Well, I'll do that for predictions later, but yeah. So that happened. And then Regal announced after the match that the winner at Takeover will get a shot at the women's tag team championships against. Well, if it's still Nia Jackson, Shayna Baszler, then against them, or if Naomi and Lana take them, then of course they'll be who they'll defend them against. But yeah, so that's good. I'm sure everyone was thinking this was going to happen, but it's good to have it actually confirmed, because that's the only thing that makes sense. If they just won the trophy and were the champions, that would be very dumb and a big waste. So yeah, that'll be cool, and then we can get cross-brand stuff, so even better. Give the tag team championships, try to build them again. They don't mean anything right now. They just seem like a joke right now. So hopefully they can build them back up, like when Banks and Bailey had them. So what happened next? Yeah, Santos Escobar. Oh yeah, he's getting interviewed by is it McKenzie? I forget her name. But then Santos orders his luchadorks, as I call him, to go pretty much kill Karrion Kross. He says make sure he doesn't make it to Sunday. And the interviewer homegirl just doesn't say anything. She's like, whatever. So, that's going on in the background. And then Kushida and Austin Theory had their match. Of course, Johnny's at ringside still selling his injury. But Kushida wins by DQ because... Ooh, excuse me. Kushida wins by DQ because he had Theory in a submission, and Johnny interfered and stopped it, right? So the match is good, of course. These guys are good. But what happened after is they're scrapping outside. The Way is beating up Kushida. And then Austin Theory gets dragged underneath the ring. And, we all know who it is, but, he's selling it like it's a horror movie. He's trying to swim his way out. And then Johnny reaches under and he's like, I got you. It's okay. And then he pulls out Dexter Lumis, who, of course, looks like a psychopath, just staring at him. Then Johnny backs all the way up the ramp, and Dexter stands up and he's just staring at him. And then Theory comes out from underneath. He's like, I'm good. That freak didn't get me. He's still freaking out. And he's telling Loomis, but he thinks it's Johnny until he comes to, and then he realizes it's not. Then, anyways, Dexter Loomis and Kushida beat him up, and they both hold him in submissions. And Kushida stands tall with the North American Championship at the end of the segment. And Dexter Loomis is just staring him down. So I think I'll save that for my predictions. But yeah, maybe Loomis is not just a weirdo after all, and he actually wants a title shot. So maybe we'll see what happens there. And then it cuts backstage to Karrion Kross, and he killed the Luchadorks. And, that's that. And then he warns Escobar with he does his TikTok time's up shtick, and, they have a match next week. So we'll see it settled there. And then see a Lamborghini roll up, and it's none other than Cameron Grimes, and he's back. And you're like, what is this hillbilly, what is this fool doing with this nice car and all this money? So he comes to the ring and cuts his promo, and he says he made all kinds of money on GameStop, which he just discovered, so he invested in it. And then he said they made money, and then I found out they made coins for dogs, and so I bought some of them, and then he made a bunch of money off. So he made a bunch of money off the stocks, right? So they're playing into the whole pop culture reference. Everyone, GameStop. They had that whole thing with Reddit, and broke the stock market and all that stuff. So that was funny. Cameron Grimes. I understand why people don't like him. I don't mind him. He's fine. There's definitely worse things in wrestling. So, so that was funny. And then, and in the main event, we had the Grizzled Young Veterans take on Ciampa and Thatcher. And holy crap, man, these guys just beat the stuffing out of each other. It's what I expected. I love their style. It's so real. It's so hard hitting. And I said last week, it's so compelling to see Thatcher and Ciampa on the same team right now, because they just complement each other so well. Oh, and speaking of, they cut a promo right before. Thatcher's sitting there with his, the way he delivers is it's awesome. It's very funny, and they're just going back and forth about whatever. And then Ciampa says how time for games is up, time for playing games is up. Boom, and he gets up and all aggressive and throws the chair. And then Thatcher's just staring in the camera. It does his most ridiculous smile I think I've ever seen. Just like, I can't even do it. Missing teeth and all that. And it's so funny, man. They're just so funny together. So they're so perfect. But it didn't work out for them in the match. They ended up losing. And the Grizzly Young Veterans go on, and they're going to face MSK in the finals for the Dusty Cup Classic. And then, of course, whoever wins gets a future match for the NXT Tag Team Championship. So, very good show. Both very good shows. A bunch of stuff mattered, right? We had tournament matches on NXT. We had a championship match on AEW, right, with the TNT Championship. And we had Kushida was there again, which is cool. Still crazy to see the New Japan guys coming through to AEW. And yeah, so I'm excited for TakeOver. I'm excited for next week with AEW. Also, there's an Impact show on Saturday, pay-per-view, and there'll be some more crossover. I believe Private Party's in a 3-way for the Impact Tag Team Championships against the Good Brothers, and I forget the other team. But yeah, so a couple of shows this weekend. I won't be doing any coverage on that, but I'll definitely cover NXT. And so my predictions for NXT are as follows. So I'll start from the bottom and work my way up. So the women's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Finals, Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez versus Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon. As much as I love Shotzi and Ember, Raquel and Dakota have to win this. Raquel Gonzalez is beast. She's been beasting, and she should stay beasting. So that's my pick for that. I don't think they should dominate as they have, but it should be a good match, and definitely think Gonzalez and Kai should win. And then hopefully they will face Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler at NXT. and they can have a good match, and we can see Gonzalez put Nia in her place. I think that'd be very cool. And then at some point, I think we still have that not looming, but that lasting image of Raquel Gonzalez putting Io Shirai through the table. Or did she pin her? She might have pinned her, but from War Games, So I think she's in line for a title shot at some point too, if Io Shirai comes out with the title still. So that is still up in the air because she has a match too. So the next match, the men's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Finals. MSK, Wesley and Nash Carter versus the Grizzled Young Veterans, James Drake and Zach Gibson. And you know what? I'm going with the new guys, man. MSK, you've already got them in the championship. They debuted in the Dusty Cup. They're in the finals. Put the rocket on them, man. Send them to the moon. Grizzled Young Veterans, this can be their thing. They get to the finals and lose 2 years in a row. Maybe next year they can win it all. It'll be a bigger story. If they're still in NXT, if they're not like looking at a main roster call up. But yeah, give it to MSK, man. They're fun to watch. They're exciting. They're new. They could breathe a lot of new life into the tag team division because they're really good and exciting. And I think that'd be the best way to go, is to have them carry the tag team division forward. So I'm going with MSK. And then the North American Championship match, Kushida versus Johnny Gargano. I'm gonna go with Kushida here, and this match should be a banger, right? This is probably the one I'm most excited for. I don't know, the women's match is pretty crazy too. I'm gonna say, yeah, this match will probably I'm calling it as it'll probably be the match of the night, and I think Kushida should win it. Johnny doesn't need a title. He's like I said with the Bucks earlier, right? Like, he's beyond the titles. He can be this little shithead heel that he's been, and he's so good at it and hilarious at it. I don't think he needs the title. So Kushida could do good things with that title. I see this is kind of like a dream match with Gargano and Kushida, and I think Kushida could have some more dream matches going forward with that title because there'll be obviously better opponents at his disposal if he has the strap. So Kushida to win the North American Championship. And then the women's NXT Championship, Toni Storm versus Mercedes Martinez versus the champion Io Shirai. Triple threat, right? So there's no countouts. You got a pinfall submission. There's no DQs. This should be good. Should be really good. And of course, Io doesn't have to be involved to lose, which is why I think she might lose to Toni Storm. No. I think Io's going to retain. Io Shirai is going to retain the title. And she will face at some point. I think she's going to have it until Gonzalez takes it off her. That's what I'm going to go with. Io Shirai retains. We should see a moonsault, big old moonsault from her, doing something crazy. Definitely see Toni Storm and Mercedes beat the crap out of each other. It should be good. And yeah, Io Shirai, I think she'll retain this. I think that's the smart move. Even though her title run hasn't even been that crazy, but it's been a weird year, It's been COVID and all that. I mean, it's been the virus and all that. So I think Io should retain it, and I'm very conflicted about this. Yeah, I'm just gonna say that Io Shirai is gonna retain. And then the main event, which sadly is like the match I'm least looking forward to. I just haven't really felt I don't know. I don't really care about the build because I feel like Karrion Kross should be in that picture already because he never lost. He had to relinquish the title for getting injured after his big win. He beat Keith Lee. But I think, Finn has to retain, right? I feel like he's gonna retain. Pete Dunne, I just don't see him as the champion right now. He's not as hot as he once was when he was the United Kingdom champion. And I just don't. The match, obviously, I'm sure will be a banger, but I just don't. I don't care enough about it, and that makes me sad because I really like both guys are awesome, you know. But I don't know, the build just hasn't been there for me on this one. I don't know why. I don't know. I'm gonna say Finn Balor retains though, so that's my prediction for that. So just to run it back, I got Dakota Kai and Gonzalez winning, MSK winning, Io Shirai retaining, Kushida winning the title, and Finn Balor retaining. So there it is. There's my predictions for AEW NXT Takeover Vengeance Day. Definitely looking forward to it though. It should be a lot of fun to watch. The matches, the card is stacked, so it could be huge. It could be a lot of great matches. Any match could really steal the show, but I think if I had to choose one, I'm gonna say it's gonna be the North American title match, and Kushida and Johnny Gargano. Also, a little update here. So I have my Matty B Wrestling logo in that top corner, as you see. I think it's this way, that way, that way. This one right here. I have some T-shirts coming, so I'll have anywhere from small to double XL. If anyone's interested, check me out on Twitter, twitter.com/Matty B Wrestling. Just like it's spelled here. And yeah, I have that same logo as my logo on Twitter. Hit me up. Just send me a DM if you want one. We can exchange info. I can send it. I should be able to ship anywhere in the States, and I can send them out. So just let me know if anyone's interested in that. They should be coming hopefully by next week. And if I can take orders ahead of time, or you can wait and see it if you want. Just let me know. But yeah, thank you all for hanging out. Go ahead and tell me what you think about the shows last night and who you think's gonna win this weekend at Takeover Vengeance Day. Let me know in the comments. If you like the video, go ahead and like. And if you haven't subscribed and you think my content is good enough for your subscription press, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I'll keep it coming with wrestling reviews. I usually do my kind of in character minimalistic review. You can check those out. I have a playlist of them. And I do Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and AEW reviews weekly. And then if there's a pay-per-view, I'll do one as well for that. So go ahead and check it out. And I will see y'all for SmackDown. I'll have a minimalistic review for SmackDown. It'll be posted up by Saturday. So y'all have a wonderful weekend coming up, and I appreciate you for stopping by. Peace.